She hadn't cried yet. Not when she read the letter. Not when she realized who it was from. But now, sitting in the soft silence of their penthouse, the place they built together, brick by carefully curated brick, Anna felt something unraveling inside her, slow and dangerous, like a fuse. The pale morning light spilled across marble floors and designer furniture, but nothing could soften the weight of the envelope in her hand. Black wax seal, broken, its message already seeping into the edges of her calm. 43 floors above the chaos of the city, the world buzzed below, unaware, irrelevant. Up here, something far more explosive was brewing. Behind her, the bathroom door opened. Mikita stepped out, towel slung around his neck, rubbing damp hair, his movements casual, almost lazy, but his eyes sharpened when they found her. She was too still, her face unreadable, the coffee on the table untouched. "You're up early," he said. Anna didn't answer. She placed the envelope face down on the desk, like it might burn her fingers if she held it any longer. He tilted his head. "Something wrong?" The way he asked, warm, curious, too calm, made her stomach turn. "I couldn't sleep." He walked toward her, barefoot across the cool floor. "You've been distracted." She offered a brittle smile. "Maybe I'm just tired of pretending I'm not." His eyes dropped to the envelope again. "What's that?" "Something that might change everything," she said, cool as glass. His mouth opened, then closed again. She stood, walked to the window. The skyline was beautiful this morning, sharp and glittering, like a blade. "You know," she murmured, not turning to face him. "I used to think we were partners, but now I see it. You were playing chess. I was building a home." He said nothing, but behind her, Anna could feel it, the stillness before a storm. And this time, she wasn't afraid of getting wet. Dinner was quiet, too quiet. The clink of silverware against porcelain echoed in the warm glow of the dining room, where soft jazz played from the built-in speakers, and the scent of rosemary chicken filled the air. Mikita poured her wine with his usual care, his gestures smooth, precise, practiced. But Anna noticed the way his hand lingered around the glass, the way his eyes never quite met hers. He was trying too hard to be gentle. "I closed the Tetra Tech deal today," he said, swirling his wine. "Finally." They caved after the new projections came in. Anna smiled faintly. Impressive, but her voice felt detached, like it didn't belong to her. Mikita leaned back, watching her. "You used to ask for details. Maybe I already know how this one ends." He didn't flinch, but something in his jaw moved. A twitch of irritation he quickly disguised with another sip of wine. "I'm trying here," he said softer. "I know things have been off between us." Anna looked at him then, really looked. That was the thing with Mikita. He was always almost believable. His voice, his expressions, all wrapped in expensive silk and sincerity. But she remembered a moment now, sharp and uninvited, like glass splintering under skin. That party, 3 months ago, her heels hurt. She had stepped out onto the terrace to breathe, sipping champagne and letting the city lights soothe her headache. That's when she saw them, Mikita and her. The woman had long auburn hair, draped in a backless dress. Her arms curled around Mikita's neck, like they'd done it before. His hand rested at the small of her back like it belonged there. They swayed, whispered, laughed, and then the woman kissed his cheek, slowly, lingering, not a friend's peck, but something hungrier. Mikita hadn't pulled away. Anna had stepped back inside without a word. She told herself it was nothing. A misunderstanding. Business maybe. A client's wife. A flirtatious drunk. But now, watching him speak about mergers and profit margins while avoiding her eyes, that memory howled louder than anything he was saying. "Who was she?" she asked suddenly. He froze. "What?" "The woman at Victor's birthday party. The one you were dancing with on the terrace." Mikita blinked, unprepared. "You mean Alina? Victor's cousin? Is that what she was?" Anna's voice remained soft, dangerous. He gave a quick smile. Too quick. "She's dramatic. Drunk. It was nothing. You didn't pull away." She kissed my cheek, Anna. "Are we really doing this?" She looked down at her plate, suddenly repulsed by the perfect symmetry of her food. "It's not about the kiss." He stared at her, silent now. "It's about the way you looked at her. Like I wasn't even in the room." Mikita set down his fork. "You're being unfair." "Am I?" "Because I watched you. I stood there and watched. And you didn't even notice." Her voice cracked slightly at the end. She hated that. He stood abruptly, walking over to the window. His reflection hovered in the glass. Distant, split in two by city lights. That was months ago. Yes, and I've been trying to forget it every day since. Silence stretched between them like a wire pulled taut. Mikita turned slowly, hands in his pockets. Do you trust me? Anna gave a bitter laugh. I think I used to, but lately, I don't know what's real with you. His expression flickered, wounded maybe, or annoyed. It was hard to tell anymore. You're making something out of nothing, he said quietly. She stood, her napkin falling unnoticed to the floor. I don't need to make anything up, Mikita. You've been writing the story without me. He stepped toward her, close enough that she could smell the cologne she once bought him. Woody, rich, steadying. It didn't help anymore. I love you, he said, even if you're too angry to feel it right now. No, she whispered. You love control, and I'm starting to slip out of your grip. His eyes darkened. That's not fair. Anna stepped back. Neither is lying. He opened his mouth, to defend, to deflect, to offer some carefully measured truth, but she was already walking away, her footsteps quiet but deliberate. In the hallway, she paused. That woman's touch, that look in his eyes, the subtle shift in his voice when he was performing affection. It had all been fragments. Now, they were falling into place. Something had happened, she was sure of it. And whatever it was, that letter still in her bag whispered confirmation. It wasn't over. Tonight, he lied to her with flowers on the table and wine in his glass. And she let him, but not for long. The office was quiet, the kind of quiet that only existed past 9 p.m., when the day's energy had bled out, and only ambition or guilt remained behind. Anna's heels clicked across the marble floor as she entered the sleek reception area of their company. Her company, or at least, that's what she had told herself. The walls, the logo, the minimalist furniture, all of it had been part of the dream she and Mikita built together. Equal partners, or so she'd believed, until today. The letter had been burning a hole in her handbag since morning, its contents as shocking as they were validating. She hadn't wanted to believe it, not entirely, but a whisper inside her had known. And now, she had to see it for herself. The assistant's desk was empty. Of course it was. Only the night cleaner remained, humming to himself down the hall, unaware of the storm that was quietly gathering behind glass walls. Anna walked to her office first, unlocked it, and retrieved the folder her lawyer friend had sent her. The original partnership contract sat inside, black ink, her initials on every page, everything they agreed on. Then she moved. She didn't knock when she opened the door to the conference room at the end of the hall, the one Mikita insisted on using for his late-night meetings. She froze. Inside, standing too close, laughing too softly, were Mikita and Serhiy Romanenko, his old mentor, former partner, and the one man she never fully trusted. The two of them looked up like teenagers, caught sneaking a cigarette. "My love," Mikita said, slipping instantly into his polished voice, the one he used when clients were watching. "What are you doing here?" Anna didn't answer. Her eyes were already on the contract that lay open on the table. Not the contract, not the one she had signed. A new one. Her name was printed at the top, but the details were wrong. Very wrong. This version gave Mikita full executive power, decision-making authority, financial control, her shares diluted, her role downgraded to something cosmetic, co-founder in name only. And worst of all, it was backdated. 3 months ago. She picked up the document slowly, like it was radioactive. "You forged this," she said, her voice low, clear. Mikita moved toward her. "Anna, it's not what you think." "Don't," she snapped. "Don't insult me with that line." Serhiy cleared his throat, stepping back. "Maybe I should—" "Sit down," she barked, turning on him so sharply he nearly tripped into a chair. "You helped him, didn't you? You coached him through this." Mikita's expression twisted. "It was just business. You've been distracted lately, pulling away. You needed control," she said. "So you took it, without me." He exhaled through his nose. "I protected what we built." "No," she corrected. "You rebranded it under your name and hoped I'd be too in love or too tired to notice." He didn't deny it. She laughed, short, bitter. "God, I should have known. That contract, the woman, the sudden interest in my calendar. You weren't worried about me. You were trying to make sure I wouldn't show up at the wrong moment." "Anna," You didn't just cheat on me, Maikita, she said, lifting the contract and letting it slap the table. You stole from me. The words hung in the air, cold, true. Serhiy shifted in his seat, like the weight of the truth had finally registered. I can fix this, Maikita said, reaching for her arm. She stepped back, eyes blazing. You already did. You fixed it so well that I almost didn't see it. But you forgot something. He blinked. I built this company with you. I know every number, every clause, every floor tile in this goddamn building. And now I know what you're capable of. He opened his mouth again, and for once, no words came out. Anna reached into her bag and pulled out her phone. You're going to explain this, publicly, or I will. And trust me, the version I tell won't be so forgiving. Blackmail, he scoffed, trying to regain footing. Call it whatever you want, she said. You've been rewriting the narrative for months. It's my turn now. A long silence. Then Maikita's voice, smaller. You don't want to do this. Anna smiled, the kind of smile that didn't belong to the girl who once waited up late for him to come home. No, Maikita, you didn't want me to do this. That's why you kept lying. She turned and walked out, her heels echoing louder this time. Every step away from that room felt like reclaiming air, reclaiming space, reclaiming herself. As the elevator doors closed, she didn't cry. She didn't scream. She just stood tall, holding both contracts in one hand, the original and the betrayal. Tomorrow, the lawyer would get them. But tonight, she allowed herself the quiet satisfaction of knowing one thing for certain. This wasn't over. But it had begun. Irina's apartment smelled like burnt coffee and worn paperbacks, the kind of place where heavy conversations lived comfortably. Anna sat on the edge of the sofa, back straight, a folder in her lap, the forged contract, her signature mimicked perfectly. Across from her, Irina, still in her sweats, read in silence. When she finally looked up, her expression was all steel. He gave himself majority control and buried it behind legal smokescreens. This wasn't a mistake. This was months in the making. Anna nodded, but her face didn't move. You want to take him down? Irina asked, already knowing the answer. Anna stared at the contract. I want him to watch it all burn. There it was. But Irina didn't smile, didn't nod like in the movies. She leaned back and said quietly, you can do that, but you might not like who you become by the end of it. Anna looked up. He didn't care who I was becoming when he lied. Why should I? Because you're not him. Irina's voice was even. Because when this is over, you still have to live with yourself. Silence settled between them, thicker than the city smog outside. Anna rubbed her temple. I don't want revenge. I want justice. Sometimes those look the same on paper, Irina said, but they feel very different when it's done. Anna didn't answer. Her hands moved, unfolding the plan she'd been sketching out in her head all week. Leaked financial inconsistencies, an anonymous tip to regulatory agencies, a quietly timed board vote, pieces of his empire he didn't know were already slipping from his grip. But there's one thing I need, she added. Something personal. Irina raised a brow. I want him to know it was me. I want him to see it coming, and still be too late to stop it. Back on the street, Anna zipped her coat tighter. The wind had picked up, slicing through the gaps between skyscrapers. But inside her, that storm had steadied. She wasn't lost anymore. She was moving. And Maikita, he was running out of places to hide. The hotel lobby smelled like cold perfume and secrets. Anna didn't plan to follow Maikita, not consciously. But when she saw meeting with V on his shared calendar, something in her clicked. She waited near the bar. Then, right on time, he walked in. Not alone. A tall woman greeted him. No kiss, no touch, but their silence was intimate, charged. Anna followed them to the elevator, heart hammering. 10 minutes later, she knocked on their suite door. Maikita opened it, stunned. Anna, what are you? She brushed past him. Inside, the woman stood at the minibar, now without her coat and sunglasses. I've seen you before, Anna said, narrowing her eyes. The woman smiled. You have, just not up close. Maikita shut the door. Anna, this is my sister, Victoria. Anna stared. You never told me you had a sister. There were reasons, he muttered. Like what? She snapped. She was involved in business. Risky business, he admitted. If you knew, you'd start asking the wrong questions. Or the right ones, Anna said. Victoria sipped her drink. He was protecting the illusion. You were the clean one. Anna's stomach turned. So, I was the cover. Mikita stepped forward. It wasn't like that. Yes, it was, she whispered. You made me believe we built something real. But it was all built to hide this. Her. You. He looked genuinely lost for a moment. Victoria didn't. You were useful. Don't take it personally. Anna let out a slow breath. You know the worst part? I trusted you. She turned to leave. At the door, she looked over her shoulder. This is the last time I walk away from you. Next time, I walk over you. She closed the door behind her. The apartment was too clean. Morning sun streamed through the windows. But it didn't warm the space. It exposed it. Every corner curated like a showroom. Every trace of her already erased in her mind. Anna sat at the dining table. A single envelope beside her, this time white, silent, legal. Mikita walked in, his hair still wet, shirt unbuttoned. He paused when he saw her. You're here early. Anna didn't answer, just slid the envelope across the table with 2 fingers. He opened it slowly, like it might explode. It didn't, just pages, evidence, contracts, screenshots. The final blow. I know about Victoria, the shell companies, the transfers, and the woman at the party. Not just a flirt. She's part of it too, isn't she? He sat down carefully. You don't understand everything. No, she said. You don't. She pulled a second folder from her bag, set it beside the first. This one's for the board and the authorities, if it comes to that. Mikita's face hardened. You're bluffing. She looked him dead in the eye. Try me. A pause. Then, quieter. You wouldn't really do this. You already did. He reached for her hand. Anna, we can fix this. Please. She didn't move. You're not sorry. You're cornered. Mikita opened his mouth to argue, then closed it. He knew. Anna stood, slowly, collected her coat. You made me think I was building a life. Turns out, I was just setting the stage for your performance. She hesitated, then turned back once more. I'm done being the soft ending to your mistakes. And with that, she left. Outside, the wind stung her face, but she welcomed it. No ceremony, no tears, just silence and freedom. Not a victory, not revenge, just the beginning of her story.